All right. It looks like we're on. Everybody, thank you for joining this episode of Thumos School for Men. Today we have Jody Licatino on the call, founder of Thumos. How you doing, Jody?
I'm doing great. How are you, Charlie? You got your coffee?
Oh man, I got my coffee. Got my coffee. Always got it. My Thumos strong mug here for sure. Yeah, look, Jody, we've had you on in the past talking about some different things. Our first episode with you, we talked about Thumos, all about Thumos, the background, the history. That was episode 23 for those who are listening and want to go back and listen to that. We've also had you on um, when you had gone out of the country and kind of exploring your experiences, what it's like to be out of the country. Today, I wanted to do something a little different and have sort of a lightning round on your thoughts, specifically around men, life, and as it relates to words that start with the letter P. So I was going to run through some of these words and kind of get your high level, quick synopsis, and we'll run through these P letter words and hear your thoughts on it. What do you think about that?
I like it. Words that start with P. Do I get to prepare or no?
No, no, no preparation, buddy. This
Let's
is
let's
yeah.
roll. Let's see.
All right.
Caveat, a
Okay.
disclaimer. This may not be any good, but let's see where it
Hey,
goes.
look, if it's not good, that's fine. We'll just edit
That's
it
right.
all out and
That's right. I've only been coaching
yeah.
on and off for 20 years with men, so let's roll.
Excellent, Jude. All right, let's start with this. All right, so Thumos is about men, and your answers are going to be around men and how we're living with life. And
Yeah.
the first word is pain. Thoughts around pain.
Pain is one of the greatest teachers that any man or woman, let's talk about men, this is the school for men. It's one of the greatest teachers out there. When I hurt my neck, I had single thought of focus. Single thought of focus can also be called meditation. Not all over the place. I had one focus. Pain, I say, is the greatest teacher because it taught me compassion. It slowed me down. It's not perfect. So I was self-focused. I was slowed down. I got compassion out of that. Opposite of my judgment. My shadow is judgment, but it taught me compassion. The problem with that pain and me slowing down and getting compassionate is I was really no good to other people, outer service. I couldn't even lift my own luggage when we traveled. That doesn't show up well with the wife. So good and bad, but pain can be a fantastic teacher. I have so much compassion now for people in pain, going through struggles and strife, especially chronic long term. Pain is a wonderful teacher. I don't wish it on anybody, but if we don't resist it, it can change us for the better. Pain.
Wow, well said. It sounds like you had that all orchestrated already. So thank you for that. That
I've
was
just
that was
been
excellent.
living it with this neck. I haven't slept well in 6 months, been in quite the pain. So speak from experience.
All right, next word, pay. Pay, pay.
Pay matters. Pay isn't everything, but pay matters. We live in an economized society. A lot of people will ask us or tell us to chase our passion. We'll probably get to that. I want people to do that. Passion, purpose, pay ought to come from that. If one's outer purpose and their passion is teaching, they can go get paid $60,000 a year, and that's okay. Teaching middle school. But here's the deal. It's okay, but it's not enough money in today's crazy world. One could still teach and make 600,000 a year. He's just doing it on a stage or in a mighty network or in a community. Pay matters. We get a lot of our mojo, our self-confidence, our self-worth, right or wrong, out of pay. If I don't make much money, how am I going to help people? How am I going to be abundant? How am I going to provide? How am I going to give to others? Pay is not everything. And some of us, a lot of men are on their way, but pay matters. It's how we're generous. It's how we're abundant. That's pay.
What would you say? One more follow up question with pay. What would you say to folks that uh, assimilate the pay with success?
It's short-sighted. If you want to know what success is, any man in Thumos, go look at the 8 F's. I show 5. I'm just showing up my hand like these 8 F's that we have. Success is being integrated and being a 7, 8, or 9 in all of these 8 F's. So, for example, a man can make a whole lot of money. A lot of C-suite guys do, whole lot of money, but the relationships are a disaster. Another thing that's common, C-suite guy, lots of money, but his health is a disaster. Is that success to me and you? Absolutely not. So success to me is being integrated, being balanced, being centered, being strong in all these 8 F's, being on the way, knowing our weaknesses and going after the F's accordingly, whatever F that may be. So pay alone is not everything. Lots of pay does not mean success, but it's probably part of the recipe.
All right. Next P letter word, purpose.
I think it's huge. Kind of our slogan right now is we help men find their purpose, their path, their potential. Happiest men I know, the happiest men I know, and women, they're clear on their purpose. This is their outer purpose. They're doing what they're called to be doing. Oftentimes, these are INGs: teaching, training, coaching, engineering, problem solving, accounting, selling. They don't have to be ING words, but they often are. When these guys lean into that, they get real, real good. They're clear on their purpose, which encompasses their God-given gifts, talents, strengths, and they work real hard on that and get good, like skill mastery level. They can perhaps even get into flow state one day. This is all purpose, specifically outer purpose. This is the doing from a place of serving, from a place of strength. These are the happiest people I know. Men that are clear on their purpose and they're intentional and they're doing it. That's outer purpose I just spoke of. You want the other?
Yeah, I was just about to ask, is purpose organic? Does it change?
Yeah, outer purpose can absolutely change and probably will. If a young man grows up, Kenny, our brother Kenny, what an awesome fighter, did it in the ring, did it at a high level. Well, what happens when the fighter can no longer fight? Is his purpose gone? Is it done? Who is he? Who is any fighter? Who is any athlete once the fight is over? That's a hard and a dangerous place for a man to be in. A lot of guys get stuck for 5, 10, 20 years trying to reach back into that identity when they were somebody. Now they feel like a nobody. Outer purpose absolutely can and should change. What happens when the fighter realizes one day, and Kenny's done this, he's a healer. He's no longer knocking men down. He's now helping men back up. Same level of strength, maybe more to help men back up than to knock them down. That's that outer purpose changing. That is a man evolving. You take a woman, a wife, and Thumos, we're looking at our wives. How are they doing? Are they clear on purpose? Because if they're not, they're reaching out to substitute for whatever it may be, to ease the pain for lack of purpose. What happens when a wife, if she's a housewife? It's one of the most noble and hardest jobs out there. What happens when those kids are gone and grown? Are they a housewife? What are they at that point? When they have no one to take care of, no one to lean on, those kids are gone. I've seen this. This is a dangerous place. We ought to be helping our wives redefine, rediscover the 2.0, 3.0 of themselves. Outer purpose absolutely can and probably should change as we get older.
So, for someone out there that has never really identified their outer purpose and they're trying to figure out the first step, what would you advise them?
I'd advise them kind of self-plug, honestly. Go look at the video I did on how to find your purpose. But for this video right here, first step, spend some time in quiet in nature, contemplation. What would you do, Charlie, if you had all the money in the world? If you hit the Powerball, if you hit the lottery? I know you don't play it. If you had all the money in the world, what would you go do? Number one. Number two, I'll give you three. What are other people telling you you're good at? What are they calling you for? Is it relationship advice? Is it health advice? Is it problem solving? That's a passion clue. That's a purpose clue. Number three, what do you do in your spare time? What do you enjoy? What do you read? What books? What do you listen to? What energizes you, right? There's three ways right there in order to find your outer purpose. I recommend, and that's a lot of contemplation and some outreach, hearing from others. But I really like the connection around this because here's the deal. When 9 Thumos guys tell you you're good at something, either all 9 are full of bull, or you ought to be listening. So I think there's beauty in plugging in others that know, love, and care about you. I do caution people to be jealous. I do caution people that others can subconsciously be jealous. So if you're asking someone and you're up here in whatever area, career, money, whatever, and you're asking someone a little bit lower, they could be a little bit jealous and may not even know it. But I still like the connection and asking for advice.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. Next P word, path.
Path, the path is huge and it actually changes. We get a man into Thumos or working one-on-one with a man. We get him clear on that purpose. Now, what's the path or the platform to go be inside of that purpose? So if we go back to teaching, if teaching is the purpose for somebody, they have a gift and they're energized and they're really good at teaching, how are they going to go do that? Are they going to go teach high school? Are they going to teach college? Are they going to teach on a stage? These are all different paths. And what I love about paths and what I've learned from all this men's work in my own life, these paths will absolutely change as well. You remember the book Choose Your Own Adventure when we were kids? I don't know if you had the Choose Your Own Adventure books,
Mhm.
but we get to a point in the book, we'd have a path to choose. We'd choose path A or path B, and we'd take one and it would take us to another door or another path. Then we get to choose again. And so all of life kind of consists of these series of paths. That's a lot like our lives, man. That teacher, that engineer, or that consultant, or that coach, she's going to have multiple paths to go through in life. That path matters in order to get us to the place we're trying to go within purpose to unlock our potential. So the bottom line is the path is the direction in which we're going to be inside of purpose. That's the path.
Man, it sounds like you're reading from a book here, buddy. This is that's pretty solid. All right,
I,
next
I
word.
like books, I like stats, but you know what I like better than all that stuff? The fact that we're living this stuff out and we're talking to real men with real experience in real life and real trials and real wins. People, there's no debating that because it's an experience and we're watching it happen. So we don't need quotes and we don't need stats and we don't need books, someone else telling us because we're living it out each other. Think about a man that doesn't have a purpose and is not clear on his path. It's like a ship without a captain or a ship with a captain without a rudder. Like, what's that ship doing, man? It's just floating and hopefully buoyant. Oftentimes, men aren't even buoyant anymore. Like, they're almost like drowning. It's tough. You got to have a direction. You got to have a captain. You got to have a way to steer, point that ship towards north. Let's go north.
I love it. All right, next P word, potential.
Ah, I love this word potential. It's why it's one of my words I'm kind of describing Thumos, purpose, path, potential. You and I've talked about this before. How do we ever know if we're truly unlocking our full potential? I don't think we do. And I think that's totally okay. I don't know your potential. I know it's huge and I know I see it bigger than you probably see it from yourself and probably vice versa. I'll never know if we're unlocking full potential, and that's okay. Here's what I do know. I know when I'm leaving potential on the table. I know when I'm playing small. I know when I'm outside of purpose or when I'm talking to a man or woman coaching. I know when they're leaving potential on the table. In fact, they know more importantly when they're not unlocking their freaking potential. Usually it's lack of clarity, it's lack of confidence. The happiest men that I know are clear on their purpose, they've chosen a path, and they're starting to unlock potential. And it never has to stop. By the way, when these men get older and their outer purpose changes, what I didn't mention was inner purpose. The outer purpose is the doing, unlocking the potential, going down the path. The inner purpose, it's the being. God says, be still and know that I'm God. That's the listening, that's the meditation, that's the peace. That's the
Mhm.
yin to the yang. That's the undoing to the doing. The older we get, the more we're leaning into this inner purpose, our true self. There's not a doing in that. So I like to help people. Let's don't wait till you're old to experience the inner purpose. Let's get the balance of outer and inner. Because too much outer is anxiety, especially if it's low energy, around low energy things, people, places. But when we balance the outer from the right energy, especially with a little bit of inner, the doing with the non-doing, now we've got a complete centered strong man.
Do you think that age has a relation to finding your potential?
Yes and no. Um, what I think we ought to be doing, let's go to the younger ages as men of Thumos, as men, as dads, Thumos or not. We ought to help be pointing our sons and daughters in the right direction. No counselor did that for me. These guys in Baytown, Texas, they wouldn't have known, they didn't know enough to help me anyway. So I think the best thing we can do as moms and dads, as human beings, as coaches, as friends, is helping younger generations and older, helping everyone identify their God-given purpose, their God-given gifts, which go into that purpose, in order to choose a vocation, a business, a job that's aligned with those. And that doesn't mean we don't get some calluses and do and learn grit and hard work and do crappy jobs. I think we should. I think there's a work ethic. I just don't want to see a man or woman doing that for 2 or 3 decades outside of their purpose. I
Mm.
also believe that we should always be asking, what do I want to be when I grow up? I don't care for 20, 40, 60, or 80. I hope to be asking myself, what do I want to be when I grow up? And all that is what's next for me where I am. If I can no longer lift huge or heavy weights because of a neck, that's all right. I've now got a mess that I'm going to be able to message to relate better to people because I've had suffering through that and learning and growth and wisdom, and I can even help more people. So I think it's constant and ongoing. It should start young, but it should never stop.
All right, one more follow up on potential. In your experience, what would you say are the top one or two things that prevent people from reaching their potential?
I tell you what I did wrong. I thought small, I played small, and I tried to do it all alone. So it's those three. This is not just me, but I want to talk about myself in this instance because this is what I would do different. If I could go back and talk to my 20-year-old self, and you better believe I'm now messaging this to 30-year-olds. What's at risk if we just think a little bigger? What's at risk if we just take more and better action instead of hiding behind books are good, podcasts are good. But what if we get out there and we take more action? What if we shake more hands? Every success I've ever had and you've ever had has been at the end of a handshake. Every success, every job, every promotion, there's a relationship behind it. And what if I wouldn't have and you wouldn't have done so much on our own? What if we would have gotten help in the area of finances or fitness? Look what happened when you came into Thumos, man. You reached out to a handful of guys that really knew, and you shot up. You probably did in 1 year what would have taken you a decade. So my recommendation to folks, to anyone, man or woman, think a little bigger. Everyone feels like an imposter. No one feels worthy when we get down to the core of the root. That's okay. You're not alone. Think a little bigger. Take more action. Take smart action. It can be risk, calculated for risk. Take more action. Get some help.
All right. Next P word, passion.
Passion is important. I've heard it said passion is sexy. I do agree with that. I just don't know that it's complete. To me, what's sexy, what's attractive is passion mixed with competence. In fact, you get someone real competent, it's pretty sexy, it's pretty attractive. I like to mix competency and passion together and go, now we got our complete package. When I think of competency, Charlie, for whatever reason, I think of someone very smart, maybe perhaps a little bit in their head, absent of some heart. When I think of just passion, I think of almost all heart. All heart with no head can be a little bit irresponsible, perhaps. Um, all heart with no head can almost be laughed at, perhaps, can almost be reckless, perhaps. But you get a lot of heart with enough head, passion with competence, boom. Who can argue that? I think passion is attractive. I think passion has been downplayed in this area of a lot of OGs out there talking grind and grit and get after it. I like that. Our young boys need that because they've lost the tough message. They've lost a lot of times the work ethic, the hard work, the discipline. They need that. It's just not complete. It's not a long game. Let's finish that off. Let's teach our boys and our daughters to have passion. Go after your purpose has got a huge element of passion built in. That passion is going to keep you energized when things get tough because they will. When I left corporate America, went into this Thumos, this business world, it was 10x harder. Passion kept me going. Competency gets me doing a good job, but the passion keeps me going.
Wow. Okay. Next P word, prosperity. And I'll say this, let me just quantify this. We talked about pay, but I look at prosperity a little different. And another word for this I would say is wealth. It doesn't start with a P, but prosperity and wealth. Thoughts?
My thought is let's go get it. Let's have wealth. Let's have abundance in our lives. Let's have less scarcity. I grew up very frugal, a saver. My wife, same way, very frugal, a saver. We're very equally yoked. So guess what our challenge is? Being abundant, having a prosperity mindset, having an abundance mindset. When I'm strong and I'm kind, I'm abundant, that allows me to give more money away. That is not a cheat. That is not a grasping. That is not a holding. See, money is what? It's currency. Currency. So currency needs to be in current. I'm supposed to get it. I'm supposed to put it out there. I need to invest it. I need to give it. It should come back to me. I should give it away. It should come back to me. Prosperity, to me, it's abundance. Let's be prosperous. Let's have so much coming to us, not just money, true wealth, relationships, health, money as well. See, so many people have issues, deep issues rooted in money. I think we ought to go fix that because at its core, if I've got no money, I'm actually a burden to society and my family. Money is not bad. Money is not the root of all evil. It's the root of all kinds of evil, but it also does a hell of a lot of good. Go give money away. Go be prosperous and tell me how it feels. I'm teaching that to my boys. I give them 20 bucks and say, go tip that guy giving the popcorn away at the Blue Harbor gas station. So not only am I feeling generous, prosperous, abundant, I'm helping my boys do the same. They're watching their dad be that way. A lot of this goes against my grain. Man, that's 20 bucks. Like that's waste. Let's be prosperous. It's abundant.
Powerful. All right, last P, peace.
Peace is my North Star now. Peace to me, probably 5 years ago, was hippies doing nothing, accomplishing nothing, sitting on a bench, doing whatever they do. I think we should bring peace into everything we do, and I think we should still do a lot of doing. Let's go build the buildings. Let's go build the families. Let's go live our outer purpose, but let's do it from a place of peace. At the end of the day, peace is what I most want in my life. Peace is what I want to resonate, realize, radiate onto others. I think the huge aha for me is peace doesn't have to be a man sitting on a park bench doing nothing. That's an easier way to find peace. Oftentimes, if a man can get out of this monkey mind and thoughts, let's bring peace into everything we do. It's pleasant, it radiates of good energy. And if we look at the map of consciousness, it's higher than love.
So Jody, thank you for doing this speed round, man. You just rolled right through. I wish I had another P on mine, but For those of you, for those listening right now that haven't heard from you, or don't know who you are, where can people find you if they want to get more information from you about this stuff?
Thumos School for Men on every social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, ThumosUSA.com. We're on YouTube as well, Thumos Strong Dads. So we're out there, man. We're all over the place. And honestly, we're looking for, if you're a one-on-one man out there and you're struggling, with alcohol or addiction, God bless you. I want you to have peace. Go get the help. When you get beyond that, perhaps come see us. So we're looking for ambitious, motivated men that are ready to lean in to be better leaders. Leaders of the business, their jobs, their communities, their families. Those are the men of Thumos. Come check us out.
Excellent. All right, guys. Well, with that, I think we'll wrap it up for today. Thank you all for listening. And if you like what you heard, remember to give us a strong review. All right, Jody. Well, thanks again, man. We'll do this again with some other words pretty soon.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Charlie.
everybody.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, bud. Y'all
All
take
right.
care. We're out.
What are we thinking, brother?